Welcome back to the Berg Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. With me today is Dan.
Hey, everybody.
And Ford.
Hey, how's it going?
And we don't have a real solid topic. We sat down to just start talking, and we turned the microphones on here.
After the fact.
And
it's some of our best work, guys. When we're talking about absolutely nothing. It's
a
like
lot
Seinfeld.
A lot of times it is some of our best work. I agree. I was thinking a little bit more about this as I was hitting record here. We were talking a little bit about this. I'm dealing with a little bit of a phone issue. Dan's dealing with a little bit of a phone issue. Ford's got a little bit of a mystery generator issue going on.
Issue.
And YouTube has made all of us a little bit of a DIYer.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that has really changed in the last 10 years. Like, at least in regards to how you get there. So I feel like my dad was always a DIY.
All right. So
can we? Yeah.
So that's exactly where I was just going to go. Is the question here? Could YouTube or Google, the ability to search and now AI, fix the problem that we forgot how to do everything? Right. Like, in other words, because at the core of that DIY idea is that people could actually do things, and that could be anything. Like we've talked about that. Aaron says, like, we forgot how to cook. Basically, that initially most of the things that we like people like chicken pot pie or all these, they're leftover things. It's somebody took a meal, made a meal, then they took the leftovers, made it into another meal, and then probably the leftovers of that to a third meal.
Yeah.
So that you would make it stretch, and we forgot how to do that and microwaved everything. So. Will it do it with anything? We've talked about some of my favorite memories of my dad are, my dad always worked on his own car and it was always broken.
Yep.
And I say, I'm like, worked on is air quotes, because he could fix it. But also, if the money wasn't there to fix it, he could also rig it. And nobody, I'd never seen anybody rig stuff like, I know one other person who I've seen who can rig stuff this way. But I would argue he does it more professionally than my dad did. But I think we have a number of employees who might disagree and say, no, he's like the king of it.
He is that guy. Yeah.
But and the best version of that story I've
but
told
the guy you're talking about is the same generation.
It is.
So
yes,
it's
he's the same generation as my dad.
Yeah.
So and that's the core of the question is, can it replicate that, where maybe we learn some of the things that we lost?
Yeah.
And will we? Like, from our personal situation, we both have the phone thing, and I don't know if you Googled. I did not. There's something rattling in my phone. It doesn't charge anymore, but it contact charges, so I'm good. I may get a new phone at some point. I may not. It works fine, I think.
I did go through the process
I knew you would.
of doing a little YouTube research on figuring out what it would take to, like, replace some of the contacts and the battery and things like that. And I'm stuck in this spot right now with my phone where I just don't mind that it's a little bit of an inconvenience, because I have found, because the solution is there. Like, I can charge my phone without using the charging port. I just use a different charging mechanism. I use the magnet charger. So I'm not at the point yet where it's like, I've got to do something else, otherwise I'll have to replace it.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of the tipping point for me. Like, if I had to, if I was debating whether or not I needed to go spend another $1,000 or whatever on a cell phone, I probably would be like, all right, before I do that, I'm going to take it apart.
So what would draw you to, and now we're on cell phone specific, what would draw you to get it? And for me, they're luring me with this AI, because mine has it, but supposedly that mine's, I think 4 generations old, 5. But the new one, the brand new Galaxy, is supposed to have things that my phone's never going to have. Oh. Now, I don't know exactly how they are different from whatever I do now, but I know that is the mechanism that they're trying to utilize to get me. Sure. Like, it's mildly faster than my phone. It's not, the screen's not bigger. It's not better. It's not, there's nothing that markedly changed. I feel like in the early days, things changed, and even cars were that way, right? Like, you would get a car and it was markedly better or different, something they changed. But once you're just changing little things like the Yukons are a great example. We've had a few of them. And realistically, there was not a lot of difference in probably 3 of those Yukons. They just, maybe the headlights were a little bit different. Sometimes you couldn't even tell them apart. There was,
who is like the champion of that in the automotive industry? It's Toyota. It's hilarious. Like, a young lady that works with us got a 4Runner recently. I actually don't even know what year it is. But if you look at, like, the dashboard of a 4Runner from like 1997 to 2025. It's identical.
So were they ahead in 1997, Brian, or did they just not care?
I don't know. Actually, that's a fantastic question. I don't know if they had already perfected it and they just didn't need to change it anymore, or if they're like, this works. This works. We don't need to update that. Well, yeah.
Well, but how many of the cars, when you're talking about cars, have tried to like, instead of like updating, they try and like add the new features into an existing thing? Like, my truck, your truck has the same thing. It's like, hey, we don't really want to reinvent the entire space, but let's try and put a screen somewhere there shouldn't be a screen, and then it's going to be like a ridiculous thing. Yeah. And maybe they're just saying, no, we like the way we have it. But I mean, then you have like a Volvo car, which has like this huge screen in it. They completely just threw their entire dash out and came up with a new one. Yeah. So it's like this weird.
Well, Volvo does something funny where they basically make it so that you can't change anything, right? So like, as a young man, and my sons, like as they got cars, they always wanted like put a different stereo system in, right? We've always bought old cars, and so like stuff that comes with a tape deck or a CD player, like they can't use that anymore, or they're not going to.
You could have that little tape that you put in with the cord.
So
you plug it into your CD player.
So we'd replace the head units and stuff like that in their cars. My daughter, she's got an older Volvo, and I was like, oh well, she wanted CarPlay or whatever, and I was like, I support that, because if it gives her directions and stuff right here, hopefully she's not staring at her cell phone and all those things. No, Volvo's like, that's not a thing. You can't replace this. Yeah, it's there's nothing that could possibly fit here. The button configuration, they've already come up with a button for everything. And so if you want to,
your input,
that didn't fit in their space.
No, it's funny you say that. Along those lines, one of them is in PU12, like one of my favorite trucks. Ford, and Ford had 24. That Ford, remember, they put the rear view camera in the rear view mirror. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, in the middle of your mirror,
like 1x1 screen.
Yeah, it was like a 1x1 screen in the middle of my mirror. So now I really couldn't back up using that camera, because I couldn't. I mean, you're driving an F350 and you're looking at a 1x1 screen on a mirror, but it's surrounded by a mirror. Like, it didn't shut the mirror off. Right. Yeah. So like it was very distracting. And so I don't know about Ford. I just gave up, and I would just use my side mirrors. I wouldn't even look at that mirror.
Well, that, and then which vehicle is it? Is it the Yukons that, like, all of a sudden, if you flip them the one way, it gives you like live feeds from behind you, which is like, in my mind, terrible.
Okay, so see, I like that. I like that, but it's for your kids aren't old enough. Just watch. But right now, you probably still want to look back and confirm that Savannah and Gabrielle are like okay and things are fine. You're going to reach a point in probably about 5 years where you kind of just like just whatever's going on.
Can I get the thing from that limo where like the smoke glass just goes up and like blocks the back? Like,
you just want to ignore what's happening behind the driver's seat.
Brian, you've already been through this. You know.
If I could just ignore, like, from the driver's seat to the back of the car, forget that part exists for a little while, only see what's behind the car.
So Aaron's grandfather, Cindy's dad. One time they said, like, they had a limo, and I was like, man, these rich white people, like, they got a limo, and like, you're talking the early 70s. And then Aaron was like, no, it wasn't like that. My grandfather had 6 kids, and he needed something big like a station wagon, but he got tired of listening to them yell. And so he bought an old limo. And then he would just get in the front with their grandmom, and then they would just put up the window. Whatever happened back there, whatever happened. You know what I mean? And when you got there, it was peaceful. I was like, actually, this man may have been a genius. I don't know. Why would you want a minivan if it doesn't have a divider? Like, this is way smarter. A car with a divider? That's Ford, you're onto something.
I'd like some separation.
You're going to need that.
We should go on that Municipid thing and get some old Yukons from like the police department that have like the
they already have the
divider already in there. And also the back seats are already like, hard plastic. They can't be damaged anymore. They can't break screens.
What kids do to cars is just not right. I always say someday I said tomorrow, someday you're going to have your own car. I'm not going to do it to your first car, because first I'll probably buy that. And even if you buy it, we both know it's going to be like an old car.
I'm waiting for that first car where they come home and they want to so proud to show it. I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to just wreak havoc.
I'm going to just open a bag of chips from like the bottom and just blow it apart. And then I'm going to get maybe some pretzel rods, but eat them like you fed them into a wood chipper. You know what I mean? Just like there's going to be stuff everywhere. I'm going to get like a juice box and squeeze it. Like, yeah, man.
I think it should be a convertible they buy, right? Like a nice little convertible. You just hold the bag of chips up over top of it and just sprinkle it across the whole car.
For the
You're
other
like,
day
here you go.
the other day we were driving to practice, and it was just Charlotte and I and Mara and I. And I don't know why. There was a motorcycle in front of me, like crotch rocket in front of me. And I was like, hey, girls, Mom and I are going to buy street bikes. And that's going to be the new way we get to practice so we can get there quicker. And they thought this was a great idea. It was a total lie. And I was like, and Nora, she's going to have a sidecar. Right? So we're like laughing at this idea. But then Nora loves to like eat in the car. She'll bring a whole bag of snacks. I was like, in my head, I was picturing Nora trying to eat like chips on a motorcycle. Like, you know, she's trying to catch them like a dog going by.
With the little goggles.
Yeah, little goggles.
Just crumbs going
Just
everywhere.
crumbs going everywhere. I mean, it's basically what happens in the vehicle anyway.
Yeah.
So, but the other one was, so the one was that with the PU12 with that camera. That was a rough one.
Yeah.
But there was one other one I was thinking of that you couldn't change. And the other thing there was when the people had the phones.
I got to tell you this because you said about AI earlier, right? It just like it set me off. Like,
oh boy.
I don't know, I'm a little goofy. So Tamara wanted to do something, and so she put all of her parameters into AI of going to these places, and it like spits out this whole report. It tells you all this yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, it's another cool. Let's try it. So then I'm doing like the actual research, and like the stuff isn't coming up right. Like we're off by like 30 miles. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm checking in, I'm double checking, I'm trying like 3 different apps because like this just can't be wrong. So then I'm like, you gotta type this in there. So she types in like, hey guys, hey AI, like this data isn't right. It's like, oh, good catch. Yeah, that isn't right. And I was like, you son of a gun. Like,
so this
trying
is
to act like it's expert.
Yeah,
and we were off by 30 miles.
Yeah, you've stumbled into an errand complaint that I like do, as Brian will state, I'll do enough research that may not really be enough research, but it's enough for me. And she says that I trust AI too much. She said, I'm going to need to check and verify everything that AI tells me. And I said, okay, hold on, wait a minute. What's the point of the
What's
AI?
The point, then?
Like if I say, tell me the answer to this, and I give it very specific parameters, and then it gives it to me, and then I have to go to the first person source and find it and make sure it's correct. Well, shouldn't I have I could have just done that without the AI. And she said that's what I'm going to have to do. So I don't know what the right answer is there for it.
Well, I think
I'm just
Brian's
saying
going to tell
like
us.
people are like, oh, I just typed it into AI. It's magically going to work. And I'm like, nah, bro. Like I was off by 30 miles. We said we wanted nothing more than 50 miles, and it was an 84-mile trip. And they were like going like, oh no, it's 42 miles. I'm like, from what point? Like,
maybe if you went faster.
What's going on?
Yeah.
If you went faster, maybe for it.
I think one of it, I think Aaron's on to something here where like you got to have some controls in place. Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to check every data point, but you've got to check some of the data points. Right. And then the other thing that I think is important when you're using AI is one, telling it who it is, like establishing your prompts, but also questioning it, like in the conversation, if you question the thing and say, well, here's my assumption, or here's my experience, and it will start to like fact check itself basically. And once you start doing some of that stuff, you kind of realize like, all right, well, you're gonna need to like, at some point kind of, trust but verify, I think is like is the key.
We're working with we started to do a little bit of work, and you and I haven't really talked about it, looking at some possibilities of what a tech company could do with something they're building for themselves, and would it work, but one of the things that jumped out when you said that was he had, and I don't remember the number, so I'm not even going to guess, but he was saying that when you're using AI to try and like find solutions, he had a set number of data points that you needed to have at minimum. He was like, in asking the question, you have to provide it like X number of data points, almost as a check. Like if you give it enough information on the front side, then it will force the way that it will operate. Like, and he knew the back end of how it works, I think. Right. I know he does. Yeah. And so there was something about it. And I felt like next time I talk to him, it's one of the questions I'm going to ask, not at all related to his company or what he's doing, but rather explain that to me again, because I think and you're mentioning it, is that if you give it enough parameters, then it checks against those parameters and it acts as sort of a check. Right.
Yeah. One of the big things that like, people run into, I think, with this sort of thing is, and it happens everywhere. It happens in Google. It happens in any search engine that you use. Is if you're not like intentional about the question you're asking, you get a wide variety of answers. And if you aren't specific about the the types of information you're looking to gather, it will pull from a wide variety of sources. Like if you want something specific to things that are happening in Pennsylvania, but you just type in a question about a broad topic, it's going to give you like national resources, and that's may or may not be the actual answer that you want.
Have you also found that the language, the syntax that you use, like you got to be careful. Like if you said like, what is the best something?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is the best local restaurant? Like, well, that's not.
It's too subjective.
It's too subjective. You need
to. That's market driven. If someone's paying to be that answer,
right? So, in other words, that's one of the things.
It's looking for what people have said, right? So it's saying
it's doing what you asked it to do
is the best, and that is very subjective to what's been fed into the.
And the way he described it, sort of, is if you phrase that question with like 8 or 10 points. You would give it the guidance for how to evaluate. Now, it's still making an assessment, but it's making an assessment based on, to some degree, what you told it to look for.
Yeah.
I think that.
Go ahead, bro.
The interesting thing here is we got this like duplicity thing. On one side, we're talking about YouTube and trying to figure out how to be DIY again. And I think this AI thing is just making us stupider because we're not actually trying to figure out the answer for ourselves. We're just like, hey, quick, let me ask this thing. Now, man, there's certain times where that's a benefit. Especially when you have children, they want to ask you 3,422 questions about how a tree was made. But I'm just saying, like, we're not think about it. When all three of us were about the age when you still had to go research a paper or go to a library to find something. Then Google happened and you basically just typed in something and like an answer came to you. Like the whole process of actually coming up with a solution has been shortcutted, which is a great English, shortchanged significantly. But it's the question of like, can you do it a second time? Like, yeah, you can do it one time by watching YouTube, but can you do it a second time if you need to?
That's what I was starting to get at earlier, and I don't think I ever completed that thought. But
we went off the train tracks. What happened?
Yeah, but like my dad was like a DIYer, and I think we're talking about the same generation. Our dads, in some ways acted very similarly when it came to stuff like this, my dad is a DIYer, but he is, but then he knows the information, so very similar story. My dad drove an old VW Beetle Bug back and forth to work, and he many times had to fix it if he wanted to get to work or get home, and it wasn't that he wasn't fixing it. A lot of it was driven by financial circumstances and things like that. Like it's what we could afford to have, and he had to have the skills to make sure it could get him back and forth to work and all those things, right? But he knew it, and because he had read the manuals and he had gathered the information and he had done it a couple of times, and I don't know it. Like when I do these projects, when I'm something's wrong, I think I'm mechanically inclined enough probably to handle some of the basic skill sets that are needed to do these types of things. I just don't have the experience curve or the knowledge base to accomplish it on my own. So I seek it out, right? I YouTube it, I Google it, whatever, and I get through it. It probably takes me way longer than it should, but then I don't know it. I don't retain the knowledge. I don't retain the information. If I need to do that type of thing again, I've got to go back to the same sources.
Yeah. So much of it has to do with patience, I think. And I'm not great with patience. We've talked about that. And the person that comes to mind for me personally is actually my dad's dad. So my grandfather, he was. So you're talking my grandfather. You're talking born in the 20s. Fought in World War II. Was a Marine in World War II. Had a high school education and worked his way up through RCA, and then he worked on the Apollo projects, and he built his own TV before TVs existed. Watching what they were doing, he built his own. He loved Radio Shack. That was a next level of do it yourself. That's what's been lost. So
Sure.
I feel like my dad could fix everything because his dad had ingrained in him that you fix things. And I think as a kid, I could actually fix things. I changed my brakes. I wouldn't tear a motor apart. Well, I wouldn't tear it completely apart, but I've had motors apart in my cars. I've had the trans in the rear apart. I don't even think I would, even in my Mustang, I don't even think I struggle to even consider doing simple things that I know I can do now because I've been so conditioned. Our modern cars, you it is very difficult to work on them. Mm-hmm. Even as a mechanic, the number of specific tools you need, and it's increasingly difficult to work on them. They're so electronic, so we've like moved ourselves from a point where people were willing to invent solutions to a point where you're discouraged from even considering that you might be able to reach the solution. And I don't know how that works itself out, because then you make it 3 generations. You make it you, your dad, and your grandfather, and you get back to your grandfather, and you might have somebody who really would have, he may not have even had the knowledge to do it, but he had the confidence that, and maybe it's not confidence. There was no other option.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it may have been like, to fix it, he was going to have to fix it.
I think that was it. I don't think it was a confidence thing. I think it was a necessity.
It was a necessity.
Yeah, like if I want to go home tonight, I either got to get towed or I have to fix this thing.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's So it's an interesting topic, and the car thing, the screen thing. I had another thing for it. I thought of is, what I can't believe is legal, is when everybody, and you have the magnet that you put your phone on, and yours, we talked about it. It's pretty high because you're tall.
Oh, yeah.
So when I got in your truck, it was sort of in my way vision wise because I'm not as tall as you are.
Sure.
But I've seen people lately that have them almost in front of the steering wheel, like they're in there, and they're like, and you'll drive by them and you like see that there's like a movie on the phone. And I'm like, I don't know what
hands-free thing. Like, hey, we're not using our hands.
Yeah, I mean, you're not using your hands, but you're watching
distracted.
TV in front of, like, not on the, like our if you have a screen in your vehicle, generally the front screen does not allow to play any video or anything while driving for good reason.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that would be distracting, but not as distracting as a screen that's actually directly in front of my steering wheel, or they put it up on the pillar,
right.
And so it's like just off to your left, or,
right.
and I'm like, this has to be. I don't know how you don't get pulled over for that.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean it's hands-free.
We were talking about this before. I don't know when this was, but this thing with like people having the video calls, and instead of having it on like a private conversation or earbuds, they just let it like go.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's like people just leave their phone on, I guess, because it's unlimited time. Like the old days,
nights
we're
and
old
weekends
enough where you had to like count your minutes, but they just like leave the phone on, just running for hours on end. They're just having a conversation, watching a movie because they got free unlimited data.
We're going to turn into like 3 old guys on the podcast here, but I mean, I don't understand FaceTime while you're not FaceTiming. Right, like when people FaceTime, but they set the phone down.
Yeah, I don't understand.
What's going on? Just call me then.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. It does not put you in the same room. It does not create connection. Yeah. I don't understand. Yeah,
I mean
the whole FaceTime thing. I mean, FaceTime's convenient. I use FaceTime when I'm like at the grocery store and I'm trying to like all right, like I'm in the right spot, but which of these exact things do you want? Right?
Well, like would you use it for the granddaughter? Right?
Yeah,
like for your granddaughter,
yeah,
because you can't drive. You're not going to drive there, but you can see that. You can see her. You can interact and talk. And
and it's not a replacement or even a substitute, but it is
an alternative.
Yeah, an alternative, and it does fill a gap, right? Like I can't see her for a couple weeks, but twice a week or whatever, get her on FaceTime and chat with the kids and
but when they do it and they set the phone down, I don't care. And that's not an age thing. Mm-hmm. My mom will FaceTime me and the phone. It's just a fan. I don't know why. Why didn't you just call me? And part of it is she'll want to like see them. So but like. I guess that's part of that conversation. Like if you were seeing your granddaughter, but you had your phone just sitting there because you were just trying to she couldn't comment because she's little. But you know what I mean? I feel like my mom does that.
Phone's like this, she's not going to see it anyways.
No, that's what I'm saying. But my mom is not trying to. My mom doesn't care if the girls see her.
No, but I'm saying, how does she see them?
Because she's sitting like on the couch looking at her phone. It doesn't make any sense, Brian. I'm not saying it makes sense.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying
the whole thing's confusing.
It's just the whole thing's confusing to me. I don't know.
No, I agree. I don't understand that one at all.
And I have a Droid, so I try and use WhatsApp, which just shows everybody off. So.
Oh, that's a thing? You used to use WhatsApp to FaceTime instead of?
Yeah, I mean, technically more convenient and completely private. WhatsApp is has better privacy settings.
I don't know.
Is it owned by Facebook though?
I don't know. Who knows? You need too much research.
Have you checked the privacy settings of Facebook?
No, I shouldn't say privacy settings. Like the messaging. The reason people use messaging, the reason I started using it was that time we were in Spain. It's because that's how in Europe.
That's how the rest of the world communicates.
Yeah,
just not us.
What's up? Gotcha. I don't know.
They could have already stolen all my data. So
is that better than texting?
It's identical to texting. It's just I don't need a cell signal to do it.
Oh.
So when I'm in Europe and my phone it wasn't like I was roaming because I'm just.
You can't, okay, because you can't text on Wi-Fi.
It's Wi-Fi based.
Yeah, it's Wi-Fi based.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like, I'm trying to remember like a time where I couldn't get to, because text works on Wi-Fi.
It does. It has to do. Everybody's.
No, maybe not.
Ford might be a better expert at that.
Blue to blue if you're doing
okay.
iPhone only, but if you're trying to text one of those people on the Samsung Galaxy,
If you're going blue to green or green to blue,
blue to green does not like
doesn't work as well.
Doesn't like it as much. No, there's a couple messages. Dan and I were talking the other day, and he's like, "Oh, this message." I'm like, "I never got that." And then I figured out why. That's why.
I gotcha.
What are you gonna do?
Gotcha.
They fixed the plug issue.
Yeah.
Government made it that they can't change plugs every 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, you have to like update your device to do that.
Yeah.
But
Are you still on the old? Yours is still the old.
No, I'm not. But I am.
It doesn't have any charging.
It doesn't matter.
Right. I mean, I don't have any charging port, but mine is a USB-C.
It is modern enough that it's supposed to work off of USB-C, but
Brian's phone, you actually have to wind it to get it. When he makes a call, he like has a little crank he pulls.
It's convenient because then you never worry about the battery dying. You wind it back up. I've got a wind up flashlight. I think it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I have a wind up radio, I think, somewhere.
You get a little tired if you have to use it for very long. But you just keep cranking that thing.
Cranking. It's good for the workout, though.
The emergency flash, I swear my mom or one of my parents gave me this thing. It's the emergency flashlight that you wind.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool for like 40 seconds. You're like, good Lord, I hope I don't have to go far in the dark.
Especially now with LEDs now that take like so little power that you just like.
Yeah, that's true. An LED wind up one probably would work okay.
I'm sure better. Yeah,
I'm sure it's better.
Only a couple cranks and you get a little more juice out of it.
That could be a topic another time. For down the road, we could talk about like crazy gifts like that.
Gifts you've received that were well-intentioned
and potentially effective.
Are you talking about the gifts where like people just wave the white flag that they have no idea what to get you, so they just found something random? Or are you talking about
you sound like you have specific gifts you're prepared to talk about. Yeah, I was talking about more unique, not just waving the flag.
Ford has two different lists of these gifts. Like he's got enough of them that there's two different categories, like stuff that was totally random and stuff that was like well-intentioned but not useful.
Well, and even like useful, like so I already talked about Cindy. Like Cindy will get Erin things like she got her another one of those like the glass breaker mega tool for the car, right? The car. Mm-hmm. Which like I get it.
I've heard
and it would be if I'm ever gonna in that situation. Like now somebody else got me one, so it's in like the car door, so it's there in theory. But like I mean I made it like 30 years driving and in various situations, and I never ran into needed to be able to break the glass. But
I guess it only takes one time.
I guess that one time I need it, I'm going to be really thankful.
Yeah. But my concern is like how do you find that thing if you've been in a situation where...
Well, especially if you just didn't
get a holster with yours that you're supposed to wear?
No, I don't have a holster. No.
Is it attached to the seatbelt? Like,
no, I put it in the car door.
Okay.
So if you just dig through whatever the girls threw in the door, you'd find it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think Aaron's is in the center console. I also feel like though most people would panic and like not think to grab it.
Oh yeah, probably.
It's because I mean, if you're in the point where you got to break the glass, you got to get out pretty fast.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen these videos? Like, we're way off topic now, but we
didn't have a topic. Right? We can't be off topic.
You can't be off topic.
Have a topic.
But I don't know, like the videos of like some of these like survival tactics. Like if you go into the water, you're actually supposed to wait until you're like in the water before you try to get out. Otherwise, it like traps you worse. Yeah. That would be holy smokes. I can't imagine just sitting there waiting for the car to sink.
No, so Ford, this is that'll take me to a different spot. So I was at my sister's, and she lives in Medford Lakes in Jersey, and it's this little town, bunch of lakes, bogs, really that they let fill. And she was like, "Do you see the thing about this car accident? How would I see that?" But the speed limit in this town is 25 miles an hour, no matter where you go.
Sure.
And the police are like the Philly PPA. Like if you go 26, they're going to jump out of a pine tree, like riding a squirrel and give you a ticket. They're going to get you.
Yeah.
And it's been that way since I was a kid. Like you slow down when you get to this town because they're just waiting. They have like there's probably a population of 1,000, and I think they have 1,200 cops. Oh, you know what I mean? Like they're just going to pull you over. Yeah. And but someone ended up upside down in the lake, so they came off the road, jumped the beach, and ended up upside down in the lake and had to be rescued.
Holy
And I was
smokes.
like, the speed limit's 25. Like, even if they were going fast, I don't know that 50 gets you airborne over a beach upside down in the lake. And I was like, oh. I didn't do any research.
Sounds like a
but
challenge.
I saw the car picture and I was like, somebody's got some explaining to do how this happens.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think they broke the glass. The ambulance got there.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody broke the glass or pried the door.
Or pried the door open. It wasn't underwater. It was only like underwater to like the door. If you just sat on the roof, you'd have been fine.
You'd be okay.
You'd just be embarrassed. Your pictures all over the place.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we got AI.
Yep.
Do it yourself.
DIY AI. Yeah.
We have some gift discussions.
Yeah. Don't break
limos
the
if you have
window
kids.
until you're under the water.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is kind of like one of those gifts.
Safety announcement.
Yeah, this is like one of those gifts all by itself. You know, you didn't ask for it.
You didn't ask for it.
You're probably not going to need it.
Yeah, but
in the event you happen to be listening to a podcast,
but it was well intentioned.
It's well intentioned.
All right, that's a good place to wrap it up. Thanks for joining us today, folks. Hopefully you come back for another episode. I can't even ask if you got something from it.